welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to Gaming, and yes, we are finally here, Curseborne. Curseborne. We have been speaking about Curseborne repeatedly on this channel for the last few videos at the very least, but so far there has been no video solely dedicated to Curseborne. So here it is. Here it is. Oh, well... Curseborne is a very exciting game for me because next week, as of time of recording, we are going live with the Curseborne Kickstarter. If you don't want to miss when it starts, because there will, as always, be certain high-tier pledges, make sure you sign up below. The link is below, so you get notified as soon as that Kickstarter goes live and you can get in there as soon as it starts. But what is Curseborne? It is Onyx Path Publishing's much-anticipated return to horror role-playing games. But what does that mean? Well, Onyx Path has for a long time been associated with horror RPGs because since the early 2010s, Onyx Path published the World of Darkness and Chronicles of Darkness RPGs. And in the last couple of years, we've been working behind the scenes on Curseborne, our own horror RPG, one that is not published under license. And Curseborne itself is a game that you could describe as an urban horror RPG. Some might say an urban fantasy RPG because it has elements of both. But it is a game of, well, the clue is in the name, curses and mysteries. It's a game of strange places where people disappear or are otherwise changed. It's a game of monsters. You play as them. It's a game where if you say the wrong name 3 times in the mirror, that person might appear. It's a game of alleys that take you to other worlds. It is a game where you really don't want to stop and pick up that hitchhiker. It is a game where you really do want to put a coin in that person's cup when they're asking for money, because if you don't, they'll probably put a curse on you. It is a game where the world is at times in revolt against you. It is a place, and it is an idea where all of those stories from the works of people like Stephen King, from Mike Flanagan, from some of the darker episodes of shows like Supernatural and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, can come to life. And I think that's what I really love about Curseborne. It has a broad palette of inspirations, but your games can be incredibly dark, all the way through to incredibly light. I remember when I first started working on Curseborne, one of the first things I looked at was a book that I got from one of my grandparents many, many years ago. They have all passed now. And it was this, The World's Greatest Mysteries, because as a youngster, I was always incredibly fond of mystery stories. Things like El Dorado, things like Telly Savalas saying he'd been abducted by aliens, The Money Pit, the murders on Aconcagua. Stories that had no solution. It was always left up to the imagination. Sometimes they were spiritual, sometimes they were UFOs, sometimes it was simply a murderer who killed someone and got away. Sometimes it was buried treasure. All of these things, they always appealed to me, and I remember digging that book out because I still had it, and rereading it and thinking, yeah, I can see exactly why those stories inspired me so much when I was younger, because they still inspire me now. But it's also a game that has pretty strong links, I would say, to books like this. This is Needful Things by Stephen King. A story where a Fae or a Nyarlathotep type or Lucifer type comes to a small town of Castle Rock and starts selling people cursed objects, you could say, because when they take ownership of the object, they are compelled to do a favour for the storekeeper, Leland Gaunt, and his favours invariably lead to chaos that spreads across Castle Rock. All of this, those are just 2 very, very remote sources for me, because I have a lot. inspired me on Curseborne, because in this game you play as the accursed. You play characters who are already suffering from a damnation. Now, sometimes this may be earned. Maybe you made a deal with someone you shouldn't have, a Leland Gaunt style character. Or maybe it was your bad luck and it was passed down to you through a family curse. Or maybe you just didn't put a coin in the right person's cup. Maybe a black cat did cross your path. There are lots of ways you can get cursed in Curseborne, but it will end up resulting in you being one of the hungry, one of the primal, one of the outcasts, one of the sorcerers, or one of the dead. These are our 5 lineages in Curseborne. And anyone who is fond of gothic literature, of horror movies, will recognise these archetypes. Our hungry are our vampires. We have Bathorites who need to bathe in blood. We have our Blackhearts who sap people's emotions. We have our Iscariots who devour people's flesh out of some penitent guilt. We have on the primal side, and there's more, there are more than this. In the primal side, we have our Get of Lyca, who I have mentioned before, the thunder and the lightning, the boiling rage. We have our raptors, our slow, predatory serpent types. We have our 8 hands, our information traders, our cartel of arachnid shifters. And then all the way through to our sorcerers, where we have our bloody reeves, who are quite prepared to pull hearts out of people if it gives them an extra ounce of power, all the way through to the network, who believe information is more important than a single life, and the premier, who believe reputation is everything to be gamed for when you are playing, well, playing over souls, when you are playing with pacts, making deals with demons. If it can make you famous, if it can make you popular, if it can give you influence, well, what sacrifice wouldn't you make for that? And then we have our dead. Our dead are our dispossessed ghosts who can possess corpses at the lowest level, all the way through to inanimate objects, ventriloquist dummies, cars, Christine style, until they can start possessing the living. Most dead possess their own body when they first die and come back in this semi-decomposing form that they can maintain to one degree or another. But there we have our furies, our crow type, our dead obsessed with vengeance. We have our poltergeists, our dead that harvest fear from people. And we have our mavens who want to excite so much joy and exuberance from people. And then we jump all the way to our outcasts, our people who are not people, our people who realise at a certain point in their life that they are in fact outsiders, outcasts from other places in the world of Curseborne, that have been put in these roles as humans, and when they take those masks off, they realise who they truly are. There we have our battleground angels who genuinely consider themselves paladins fighting against demonic forces. We have our Nephilim, our oh good lord, I'm going, aren't I? Our League of the Hidden Crossroads, who are the kinds of, you could call them angels, you could call them demons, who will make deals with people at crossroads for certain abilities, and so on and so forth. We have a lot. There are a lot of playable options in this game. They all have their own curses. They all have their own spells, their own abilities that they can use in this game. Why do they exist? Well, because they are the accursed. They are the curse-born. They are bearing curses. And your objective, I suppose, in this game is to find ways not only to live with your curse, but also to fight back against it, to forge new curses that benefit you and maybe blight people you don't like, to fight back against forces from the outside that are encroaching, I should say, into our world. You will explore liminal spaces, liminalities, where our world divides into the outside, places that can be prisons for fools who wander into them, or just hapless innocents who get trapped inside. There are So many adversaries in this book, so many interesting antagonists that you can go up against, including the Red Riding Hoods that take pieces of the accursed to give themselves a semblance of accursed power, all the way through to, I'm trying to think of some of my favourites right now. I'm a big fan of the Peaborgs, who are very steadily becoming inhuman because they have basically tapped in to a liminal website, and they are basically becoming extensions of that website. You have X-Files style antagonists in here. We have our Fluke. If you recall the episode The Host of the X-Files, another strong inspiration for this. All of the Monster of the Week episodes are, I would suggest. We have our Fluke worm that's infecting people with parasites. All of this lovely stuff. Curseborne runs off the Story Path Ultra system, which I've done a video about. Well, I did a video about my favourite system, and I did cover Story Path Ultra in some depth there. But it's a game that has a lot of heart. Hell, it has a lot of hearts. Don't tell the heirs. That's one of the Hungary families that, because they eat hearts. But I think it is a game that could really land. That's what I hope. I mean, that's why I'm telling you about it more than anything else. It's because Onyx Path, we don't know how well this game is going to do. We know our reputation is primarily horror, despite the fact Scion, they came from, Trinity, and all our other games exist. Our reputation is primarily horror, but we don't know whether the market wants another horror game. We don't know whether the market will like Curseborne, but we hope you will, because we have put an awful lot of effort and time, energy, and, as I say, heart into this game. Yes, it is a horrific game. Yes, it is a fantastical game. It is a game where you will make choices, hard choices, hard bargains, devil's bargains, you could say. But it is also a game of companionship, because there will be nothing more important to your character than the other members of their crew, the other player characters. You will be bonded with each other in a wonderful system that allows you to assist each other based on the strength of your bonds and basically make things more likely to succeed. When one of you succumbs to a damnation, let's say in the primal case, you take your wild form, you let the creature out, well, at that point, the only person who's likely to be able to pull you back to the straight and narrow is one of your crewmates, one of your bondmates. So it's a system I really enjoy, because one of the things that I often heard as criticism of the World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness, especially when you look at games like Vampires, why would I work with these people? Why wouldn't I just work to make myself the top dog? And I got that. I understood why people felt that way. And I think Curseborne not only has a narrative reason for characters to work together, it also has a mechanical reason for them to work together. There's so much more in Curseborne that I haven't spoken about yet. I'm going to have to break down every single lineage with every single family within it in future videos if people want to hear about that kind of thing. And I'm sure some of you will, because this is some brilliant material that I know Onyx Path intend, if it does well, to continue releasing books for. And the only way it can do well is with your support. So if this game interests you, please click the Kickstarter link below and get notified when the campaign goes live. Please back it when it comes out, because we need your support and we want this game to do well. And if people keep buying our games, we will keep making them. This may be the horror game you need right now, because maybe you've played enough of your current horror games. Maybe you want to try something different, or maybe you've never played a horror game before, and if so, this is a perfect onboarding experience for you, to use very corporate speak. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please do check Curseborne out, and if you've got any questions that are Curseborne related, feel free to leave them below. I will do my best to answer them, either here or in future videos. Until next time.